Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake on the mic here, coming at you with... We got some more USBL action here on MLB The Show 21. Got a good set of games for you guys here today. I'm sure you're going to be excited for it. And if you are as well, man, make sure you smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you happen to be brand new as well. As we go ahead and take a look at our very first game on the tab here in the later stages of June. And how about starting the episode with absolute violence, though, as we have a solo shot for Cameron Maybin, 5th home run of the season for him. And now the Cleveland Rockers, who have really surged here in, between this month and, in the last month as well. And it might continue as well, as that was almost another free run shot. Cleveland, who just gets out of the gate extremely hot, able to go ahead. They tack on a couple more runs as well. Marcus Semien with a 2-run double, as that brings in Travis Shaw as well. He hits it up the middle. He's gonna try, bring somebody home. It's close, but just couldn't get the ball out of his hands. So Cleveland is gonna take an early 5-0 lead. Gives plenty of run support for Yonny Chirinos, who's not having a bad season at all. Bad, 3.64 ERA. It was a solid season, and so has Adam Eaton, who has been on fire as of late. Batting 10 for 24 as of late, and going to continue that vibe as well, as he adds on 11th hit in the last 25 at-bats. He continues the hot streak, as Manny Machado of the Baltimore Stone Crabs comes up the plate, and Manny Machado doing star things, batting in the clutch, bringing a runner home, and the Baltimore Stone Crabs are also going to go ahead. They're going to get their very first run of this game as well. As we go ahead, see a double play made later on, but Baltimore still able to go ahead and get another run on the board. So both teams off to a pretty good start on the offensive side of the plate. As yes, we see yet another double for the Baltimore Stone Crabs. This time we have Didi Gregorius with his 8th RBI double of the season. So now Baltimore gets 3 runs in this inning alone, but they're not going to stop here, as that could not be corralled in properly. It was a tough play to be made, but at the same time, it is what it is, though. So now runners at the corners here. Ryan Braun up at the plate. He's able to poke this one past the second baseman. And yes, we got ourselves yet another run here in this first inning. 4 runs scored for Baltimore. 9 runs scored in this first inning alone. You'll love to see it if you love offense here in the USBL. Joey Barto gonna keep it going. He gets it out deep into left field. That's gonna bring in at least 1 run in. And now all of a sudden the Baltimore Stone Crabs, they go in. They tie this game up at 5 apiece all of a sudden. And now, game all tied at 5. Barris Gustavo, his second at-bat of this inning. And he's still going to keep it going. So Baltimore, they're able to bat around completely. We got guys now making their second at-bat in the same inning. Probably one of the best innings that we have seen here in the USBL from an offensive standpoint. And it's not even that, these are necessarily all hardly hit balls, Like, these are, little pokes, just getting past the defender. Just really smart, really timely hitting. And so much so, Cleveland has to go to their bullpen already. Brandon Kitzler has to come in. So, starter is already done. Less than 1 inning. It's going to be a day where the bullpen for the Cleveland Rockers is going to have to step up. Or the defense can do that. Cleveland finally getting the 3rd out of the inning. But Baltimore with a phenomenal first inning. They get 10 hits in that inning. Wow, that is absolutely amazing. How about starting off on a hot note for the bats of Baltimore? But, Cleveland's a really good team themselves. They're simply not going to lay down and give up without a fight, as Nelson Cruz actually comes in. He gets a double out into right center field. His 12th double of the season. This Greybor Torres, he's now at the plate himself, and Diving play, trying to make the amazing play, but that's actually going to cost him a base, as Gleyber Torres was originally going to pull up at first base, but because the center fielder decided to try to dive for it, gave the opportunity to get an extra base, and now got 2 runners in scoring position now instead. And even with that ground out over to the shortstop, Nelson Cruz was still able to get home. I'm actually surprised they didn't try to make the play at home, because there is, Nelson Cruz running home, not exactly the fastest guy on the face of the planet. But Cleveland does end up tacking another run. They pull a little bit closer for the time being. A 2-run difference as Baltimore tries to get a run back here. A triple out in right center field. This could be a little bit of trouble, though, but runner choosing not to go. Whoo, boy, if it wasn't for that quick reaction, Adam Eden might have had himself an inside the park home run. But that turned out not to be the case here, as the next batter, Adam Eden, he's going to be able to get home, not having to wait too much at third base, as the Baltimore Stone Crabs will go ahead and tack on another run, courtesy of Manny Machado. As a couple batters later, Robinson Cano coming up to the plate, 0 for 2 on the day so far, but he's going to get his first hit of the day, and he is also going to go ahead bring Manny Machado home. And, it's another run for the Baltimore Stone Crabs. Oh, it's trying to fight off a yawn here. Just woke up from a nap, you know what I'm saying? But another home run here for Didi Gregorius, the 7th home run of the season for him, as Cleveland will be going to their bullpen once again. This time, Michael Givens making an appearance and taking care of business right away. Gonna end up getting a strikeout. As we take a look at the starting pitcher for the Cleveland Rockers today, it was just a rough day. Not making it through a single inning. No wonder why. It seemed like Baltimore was going to run these guys off the field, it seemed like. But, Cleveland's going to continue to fight on, as Ken Grubb, who hasn't been hitting that great in simulation, but it seems like every time we get to watch him in gameplay, Ken Grubb seems to always have himself a really good performance. And that's going to continue here today, batting 1 for 2 so far, bringing another run home. So 2 for 3, a double for Ken Grubb, his 11th double of the season. As Baltimore will also go to their bullpen, they're going to call in Dylan File, currently with a 5.36 ERA. But starting off strong here, going to end up getting the strikeout on Marcus Semien, as now Travis Shaw comes up to the plate here, and Dylan File doing the same thing. Dylan File, 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts. You'll love to see that as a reliever. I know the Baltimore faithful are certainly feeling that. As cut over to the top of the 8th inning, Marcus Semien coming up at the plate once again to face Dylan File a second time, but this time could be a different result, though, as he takes this deep to center field, and it is gone like a girl in a country song. Home run for Marcus Semien. So Cleveland starting to try to claw back here a little bit now. Only a 4-run difference, as Travis Shaw, he's going to follow up Travis Semien as well. He's going to send this one deep. You know it's a no-doubter when you get a camera angle like that. A home run for Travis Shaw. And now it's only a 3-run difference here. Joe Smith coming to the game. 19 saves on the season, has only blown 1 save all year thus far. And Joe Smith coming out hot, getting his first strikeout on the first batter is Nelson Cruz. He's going to take a shot deep in this right center field. That's almost a ground rule double, as Nelson Cruz will still end up getting the second base anyways off that hit. 13th double of the season for Nelson Cruz. There's Gleyber Torres. He's going to come to the plate as well. As hang on, guys, the Cleveland Rockers might have the rally caps turned on, as Nelson Cruz, he's able to get home, and it's now just a 2-run game. They still need 2 outs, though. So now Baltimore goes to the bullpen once again. Kenny Canario coming in, making only his 5th appearance of the season. And what a time to do so. Ken Grubb at the plate. He represents the tying run, and looks like he's going to be able to get on base as well. As Gleyber Torres, he's going to be able to get home himself, and all of a sudden, It is simply just a one-run game. As now, another batter going up to the plate. And this one's a no-doubter as well. That's gone. And Cleveland now taking the lead thanks to the second home run of Travis Shaw. So the Cleveland Rockers have been down all day long. They take the lead in the most critical part of the game. Joey Bart, who's 1 for 4 in the day so far, going to try to extend this game a little bit longer. But he's going to end up grounding out, and the Cleveland Rockers pull off one of the more improbable comebacks. Baltimore definitely blew this one. This could have been a statement win for them, but Cleveland ending up surging at the end, winning 13-12. So as we progress into late June action, we actually go ahead and see our first box score of this episode, where Detroit Leopards did try to take on the San Jose Marauders. They lived up to that name, of course. They destroyed the Detroit Leopards 13-3 off of a 7-run fourth inning. Oh, Detroit just could not recover after that. And it's not like they weren't hitting very badly. You know, they had 11 hits. It just wasn't very good timely hitting. Mike Trout is going to be named player of the game. He ended up being 4 for 4, had 2 home runs and 2 doubles in this game. Marcus Stroman, on the other hand, he pitched 3 innings but gave up 6 runs and will be credited with the loss. But now let's go ahead and shift over to a game that we hope is going to be a little bit more closer. We have the Las Vegas Lounge Wizards going to go ahead and take on the New York Knights. And the New York Knights have kind of struggled a little bit despite the star power that they have on this team. They're currently sitting exactly at 500, whereas Las Vegas, they haven't been a very entertaining product themselves over at the Strip. They are actually last place in the AL West, but we'll actually go ahead and cut it out over to the top of the 5th inning, where Cody Bellinger, how about that for entertainment, gonna take this out all the way for a home run, 430 feet as well. This 12th home run of the season for Cody Bellinger. But New York is also a team that can hit as well. They got guys like Mike Moustakas and Jesse Winker, and we're seeing those bats in action as well, as we end up seeing a double for Mike Moustakas. Speaking of which, as Ramon Laureano comes to the plate now, batting in that 5 spot. He will ground out here, but he does his job, brings in another run, keeps it close in what is also turning to a little bit of a shootout as well, as Kirk Suzuki tries to bring some runners home himself, but he's going to end up striking out as well. So still will go ahead and remain a 2-run game. Zach Wheeler taking care of some business, as it does remain a 7-5 ball game. And the New York Knights are actually going to go ahead and go to the bullpen themselves. Max Strom will be coming into the game now here in the top of the 7th inning, and starts out pretty strong, man. Gets the strikeout there, leading to, got 2 outs now, where Cody Bellinger going to try to make it 2 home runs. Is he going to do it? Oh my, he will do just that. 13th home run of the season, as Miguel Sano trying to answer Cody Bellinger, but he will strike out, unfortunately. But Las Vegas continues to build distance between them and the New York Knights. Critical stuff, because this bullpen for the Las Vegas Wizards, with the exception of Ryan Butchers, he's been having a good year. This is not a good bullpen, and you know, Cincinnati Reds fans will know that having a really bad bullpen, every time you see that bullpen out there as a collective unit, it raises the blood pressure. So Las Vegas trying to build as much of the lead as possible, as Jesse Winker gets a leadoff double to start the bottom of the 7th inning, and Nolan Arenado, who's having himself a day so far, 3 for 3, make that 4 for 4. Nolan Arenado hitting the cover off the baseball right now, his 26th home run of the season, as Mike Moustakas tries to hit one out, but can't quite add any more runs, as now Josh Tomlin comes up, you know, here in the top of the 8th inning to do a little pitching themselves, after New York does tack on a run. So it's an 8-7 ball game here still, but The bats for Las Vegas are not stopping anytime soon. Stop if you heard that before, as Las Vegas will go ahead and bring another run onto the board. So now a 9-7 ball game courtesy of Marwin Gonzalez, as Josh Jung comes to the plate now. 0 for 3. Make that 0 for 4 right now. He'll be a good player one of these days, but as of right now, still pretty young. A young player over on that third base side. Needs some time to develop. But Las Vegas still does add another run to the board. So it is got the insurance run that they need, as Ronald Odor comes to the plate. And that insurance run that Las Vegas just received is gone now. And it's the 12th home run of the season for Odor. So now Evan White coming to the plate here, facing off against Seth Lugo. And that was basically how the rest of the inning went. Eli White going to strike out. So New York Knights cannot take the lead or tie this game up. But they have at least one more chance to do so, as Kurt Suzuki comes to the game now. Full count 2 with 2 outs. And Kurt Suzuki's going to get a hit. There's going to be the tying run. And we got the winning run just 90 feet away, as Ronald Odor tries to play hero, but is going to strike out. And ladies and gentlemen, if this hasn't been exciting enough, we are going to have extra innings here, and we go all the way to the top of the 13th inning, where Travis Denard tries to swing for the fences. He does strike out, though, as Marwin Gonzalez comes up to the plate now here in the top of the 13th inning. 1 for 5 so far in the day, but we got a man stealing, and looks like that is Chad Diogera getting the stolen base, so that puts him in scoring position. As Josh Jung comes back up to the plate once again, it's a little grounder over the middle that could bring him home, and Josh Jung gets the leading run here in the top of the 13th inning. Josh Jung does his job. And now the Las Vegas Wizards, they just need one more out to win this thriller in extra innings. And Jay Bruce getting a little grounder, but it does not leave the infield. And Las Vegas wins this ball game. An exciting one here between Las Vegas and the New York Knights. But the Lounge Wizards do end up defeating the New York Knights by a final score of 10-9. Up next now, we switch over to a little bit of an interdivisional central matchup here between the Columbus Jets and the Aurora Lightning. Columbus, man, they have not been doing so well, and they are in danger as well of being swept here by the Aurora Lightning. They have dominated this series, both with their pitching and their batting. Aurora with a 343 batting average. That is extremely high. As a baseball club, it's impressive if one person could do that, but when it's spread out over 9 guys, that is something else. But the Benito Osuna, he's been really struggling this month, only batting 140, but that will help him out a little bit. Nothing like getting out of a slump, like hitting a home run deep to right center field. Benito Osuna with a 6th home run of the season. And that's one way indeed to go ahead and beat the slump, as Aurora's going to end up giving up another hit. Tyler Maul not up to a good start here, as we got a slide towards second base. Throw is off target, and Willie Adams gets a 17th double of the season. As now Anthony Rendon comes up to the plate himself, batting .278 so far in the season. He's going to take this one deep out to left field, but it will end up being caught, however. But that does move the runner over to third base, as we take a look at the starting lineup. And I'll tell you what, man, that is a pretty good starting lineup that they put together. There really isn't too many glaring holes in this team, as everyone capable of getting the job done. That's why I love seeing the DH rule implemented for both the American League and National League. That's something MLB should actually do. Bob Sealick, I'm looking at you. But anyways, we do see a strikeout here. It's the first strikeout of the day for Tyler Mule. As now Brian Buxton comes up to the plate. Bases loaded here, and what a way to fumble the bag. You had bases loaded, and you can only get one runner home with the bases loaded. Man, what a broken opportunity for the Aurora Lightning. As we'll see how the Columbus Jets will respond. Ronald Acuna Jr. really struggling this season. Seen as one of the young stars of baseball, but has really struggled at the plate. And those struggles are still going to continue as well. But rest of the team bailing him out right now. It still remains pretty close as Jose Abreu is able to get home following the walk that Austin Gomber gave up. So Colton Wong now comes to the plate. Same situation for him. 2 outs here in the top of the second inning as Colton Wong takes a drive out in deep to right center field. It's gone! Grand slam for Colton Wong. It's the 8th home run of the season. As now the Aurora Lightning find themselves down by 3 runs after that grand slam in the top of the second inning. And the Aurora Lightning, you know, they didn't realize Columbus had a little bit of fight in them. They've been rumored, don't get me wrong, they have certainly been rumored to be sellers at the next trade for the next episode, a trade day episode that will be following up on Friday. But for the time being, man, this Columbus Jets team still showing some fight, but the talent's still showing, as even though Aurora, you know, they have this talent, you know, even though they're not playing their best game right now, they're still hanging tight with the Columbus Jets. I'm sure their time will shine eventually, but for the time being, the Columbus Jets will still hang on to a 5-4 lead after 3 innings of play, as the Columbus Jets will be up to bat here in the top of the 4th inning as Austin Gomber gets a second strikeout. Not a big strikeout pitcher, more somebody that has a fly ball pitcher. You know, gonna get some outs, you know, hitting some weak fly balls, but that's not really happening today whatsoever, as Austin Gomber does give up another run to this Columbus Jets squad. As now Corey Seager coming up to the plate now, gonna take a shot out into left field. It's not caught. Thought that was gonna be caught for an out. I think the runners were expecting that caught as well, as that almost, you know, allowed the defense to gun that runner down. But Corey Seager will get his RBI double, and Aurora, they have to go to the bullpen. Tony Gosselin coming in now, you know, and doing such a great job. Another strikeout on Ronald Acuna Jr., and that stifled the momentum of the Columbus Jets for the time being. As we shoot over to the bottom of the 6th inning now, Brian Buxton getting his 9th steal of the season too, by the way. As Willie Adames comes to the plate now. 1 for 3 thus far in the day, but has a double. How about a home run? Is this deep enough? No, it's not. It will drop into the field of play. However, that being said, the Lightning strike back, getting another couple of runs here as well, as the Lightning remain in this game. But can they get a stop on defense? It seems like almost every inning the Columbus is able to get in at least 1 run or something along those lines. As Julio Rodriguez now comes to the plate for the Columbus Jets. 1 for 2 on the day, but will grounder out in the middle of the infield, and that's also going to bring a run in. So Julio Rodriguez brings a run in as well, and he's absolutely fired up. You can see the emotion on this team, a team that is not willing to quit, but the inning will eventually end though. But Julio Rodriguez gives the Columbus Jets yet another run to work with here, as Chad Green comes to the game now for the Columbus Jets. We are here now in the bottom of the 7th inning. Matt Adams at the plate right now. 0 for 2, but does have a walk and an RBI, so it's still been a pretty productive day, as it's sent deep out in the right field, and it is gone. Another home run, this time Matt Adams. And Columbus so disgusted by how bad that pitch was missed, apparently, as Columbus going right back to the bullpen before an out can even be made. able to get a strikeout there. Same thing for Brian Buxton as well. So 2 strikes out in a row for Scott Barlow. Looking for strikeout number 3. And literally strikes out the side. That was absolutely huge. But now the Aurora Lightning have the lead now. They're going to be up 9-8 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. As Ryan Presley now comes into the game here in the top of the 9th to try to close things out. Score has still remained the same. Julio Rodriguez could play hero and hits the ball decently well, but just not enough juice at the end of the day. So the Aurora Lightning will also be able to go ahead and make a comeback here late. Don't call it a comeback story yet, kids, as the Aurora Lightning win up this game by a final score of 9-8. So we'll go ahead and check out our second box score of this episode. And the Philadelphia Patriots, they were taking on the San Francisco Seals. I thought it was going to be a really good matchup. Philadelphia is currently leading the NL East with the San Francisco Seals. Certainly also in it over in the ALS as well. But San Francisco just didn't come out to play, it seems like. That 9-run inning by the Philadelphia Patriots really sealed the deal. Philadelphia continues to be on a roll. They prevent the sweep, actually. And Philadelphia will win this game by a final score of 16-4. What a dominant performance. But let's go ahead now and check out another game about to go ahead and take place that could have some playoff implications down the line. It's the New Orleans Kings going on the road to play against the Washington Senators. And right now, these teams are in a tight race. They are only separated by 1 game right now in the division standings. New Orleans currently 2nd place in the AL West, I believe. Or actually, no, NL East. And then the Washington Senators are currently 3rd in the NL East. As Max Scherzer gets off on a high note, gets the first batter out, via the strikeout. But Washington is going to rough up Matt Scherzer a little bit. A single down the right field line, able to get runners out on the corners. And there still is only 1 out here as well, as Michael Conforto now, he comes to the plate. He's batting .283 on the season so far, and that's deep down to right field. That's gone. That hit the scoreboard. Oh my, 15th home run of the season for that young man right there. As we get into the top of the 2nd inning now, Wilmer Flores comes up the plate now for New Orleans, and he wants to answer back. You got barbecue, and you didn't invite me? Hurt my feelings. 10th home run of the season for William Flores. As Manuel Margot comes up to the plate, he's going to end up striking out, trying to match the intensity that, Michael Conforto had. But New Orleans only gets 1 run here in that 2nd inning as the Washington Senators come back to the plate. Mitch Garver, who's such an animal when it comes to dealing with right-handed pitchers, that still continues. Mitch Garver getting in on the show. Only his 3rd home run of the season. And now the Washington Senators extend their lead, and they're now up 5-1. And we even see ourselves a stolen base here as well on top of it. Nick Mandrago gets his 5th stolen base of the season, but ends up being stranded on 2nd base. As the New Orleans Kings come up to the plate here in the top of the 4th inning, we might see, yes, another home run here in the top of the 4th inning. That is the 100th career home run as well for William Flores. So congratulations to him on that achievement. Not everybody gets a chance to even play at the MLB level, let alone get 100 career home runs. He finally, hit that milestone. But the New Orleans Kings still find themselves down 5-2 despite that achievement. And Yadier Molina, he's going to strike out swinging as well. So that's all the damage that the New Orleans Kings will be able to provide. As we go in later into the game, Washington does decide to make a change at pitcher. Jamie Barrera coming to the game now. He currently has an undefeated record, surprisingly. Currently 8-0. But not looking too good here as New Orleans tries to go ahead and make a run. Runner's going to be able to get home too. And it's now just a 2-run game here. So guys, New Orleans Kings, They weren't off to a very good start whatsoever, but they are slowly but surely chipping into this deficit. Although the Washington Senators might have something to say about it here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as Josh Reddick, he's going to come to the plate, and all we do here is hit some dingers. And that's another dinger here in this ballpark as Josh Reddick gets his 7th home run of the season. As Mitch Garver comes back to the plate, he has a solo shot from one of his previous at-bats, but is actually going to strike out this inning. That actually does end the 5th for the Washington Senators, but they will continue to try to go ahead and build this lead, this 3-run lead that they have going on here at home, as J.D. Martinez, he puts a drive into this ball as well, and that's another home run here, home run number 15 on the season. And now it's 8-3 in favor of the Washington Senators. But in the top of the 7th, New Orleans looking to strike back here. High fly ball out in the center field, but even though it was considered an out, it was just deep enough. That was almost in time, though. As Yadier Molina, not a fast person whatsoever, he almost got gunned down there. But the run will still go ahead. It will still count. So an 8-4 ball game here. Full count here as Justin Turner trying to bridge the gap, and that's going to get over the big red brick wall. 18th home run this season for Rhys Hopkins. Getting a lot of home runs in this game, man. I'll tell you what, New Orleans, they weren't off to a good start whatsoever, but that being said, they have certainly dialed up the intensity here. But can they get a stop on defense? Can they stop this Washington squad from actually scoring a run? Of a low grounder out in the center field? We'll tell you what that answer is, and that is a big, resounding no. So now the Washington Senators get yet another run on the board, and that's a nice little insurance run that they managed to get up in there. But how about this? This right here could very much seal the game if it's fair, and it certainly is. Huge home run. The 2nd home run of the day for Michael Conforto. And it gives Cesar Valdez a lot of room to work with here, going for his very first save here in the inaugural season of the USBL. As we go ahead, gonna be, looks like the final out in a thrilling matchup here between the Washington Senators and the New Orleans Kings. But the Washington Senators are going to come out on top and will tie the New Orleans Kings in the standings, winning 12-7. So let's go ahead and shift to maybe one of the most exciting games in this entire episode. We got the Chicago Freeze taking on the Houston Astronauts, and they're only a game apart from each other. Houston currently has the best record in all of baseball, but the Chicago Freeze are right on their tails here. So a huge series for both of these teams right here that could play a role in, potential seeding. Getting that #1 seed, that means, getting an opportunity, play whoever happens to come out of the wild card game at the end of the season. It's a big deal. And of course, home field advantage. Having the World Series come from your home stadium has to go through you. That is also a big deal here. So, I mean, there's still a lot of baseball left. Don't get me wrong. We're still about halfway through the season right now. But, that being said, though, we've got a really exciting game on our hands. I'll tell you what. Christian Yelich coming up to the plate. He's batting .316 on the season right now, and gonna continue to improve the record. That's really deep. It will end up falling now. Christian Yelich, he's got some speed. If they're not careful, this could be an inside the park home run. But the Chicago Freeze do get the ball in quickly, and it's only a triple, but a run does get in. So the Houston Astronauts are going to go ahead and strike first here. Gonna go ahead and take an early 1-0 lead. But that being said, Chicago going to strike right back. Joey Gallo one of the best power hitters in all of baseball, able to get a solo shot out in right field. So Chicago not wasting any time. They tied this game right up right away. As now tie game at 1 apiece, and it looks like there was a little shift because that left fielder was out of position, and that's going to result a double. So another runner in scoring position here for the Chicago Freeze, as Andrew Vaughn comes up to the plate, but is gonna do some window shopping instead, because that man was simply just looking. And so this game now all tied up at 1 apiece. That was cut out to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and we have yet another home run out there in right field. Robinson Chirinos able to get that 2-run shot. So Houston now taking a 3-1 lead, as that's a really nice well hit ball as well out there in left field. You know, really deep out in center field, but the left field and right field side, you know, not the biggest you know, distance, you know, from a fence perspective, I guess is how, if I worded that correctly whatsoever. I don't know, man, it doesn't necessarily matter, but you know, it's one of the more unique stadiums in the USBL for sure, as Sir the Chicago Freeze are finding that out real quickly. As again, Alex Verdugo, he comes to the plate, he hits a moonshot, and that's going to be gone as well. This one ended up being hit 364 feet. 11th home run of the season for him. But yeah, I think Chicago is realizing, you know, why having that home field advantage is important. You know, imagine going here for a playoff season when we get to the playoffs here in season number 1 and dealing with the unique dimensions that's not really seen anywhere else in the USBL. And you know, the Houston Astronauts, they're going to have a huge advantage if that was the case, you know. So, I mean, again, you know, when you play against one of the best in the league in the regular season, got to take advantage of those opportunities, man. And right now, Chicago is struggling a little bit here, you know, as going to be another double for the Houston Astronauts. They do end up taking a 5-3 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as Josh Bell comes up to the plate. He hits a little poke out into center field. This might bring in 2 runs, though, and it does, but Josh Bell, man, he tried to stretch that out to a double when they were focused on home, but just not great base running, man. I feel like even though they got a ton of runs on the board, fumbled the bag a little bit to kind of stifle the momentum a little bit here, but right now it hasn't hurt them too much. Houston still has a 4-run lead, but Chicago, they're going to start chipping into this thing. Base hit out into right center field. Able to get some runners on the corners now. And more importantly, able to bring her run home as well, as Alex Verdugo comes in, gets that taken care of as well, as Houston makes a call to a bullpen as well. Jose Alvarado coming into the game now here, facing Chris Taylor, who's 0 for 3 in the day. But you want to talk about a hard hit ball, that might be one of them. And it does make it all the way out into deep left field. This could be a inside the park home run. Wow. Wow. So the Chicago Freeze now, they now will have the lead. And they're going to go ahead and turn it over to Aroldis Chapman. 25 saves on the season so far, as J.D. Davis comes up to the plate to try to keep hopes and dreams alive for this Houston fan base. And he hits the ball pretty well too, but just too much space to work with. And this game is officially over. Chicago storming back late in this ball game and win this one, snagging victory from the jaws of defeat, 8-7. And now the Chicago Freeze have the best record in the league. As now we go ahead now and check out 2 other teams that are now in the National League. We got the Jacksonville Suns going ahead and taking on the Indianapolis Indians. As Indianapolis now, you know, they're going to bring out Madison Bumgarner, a pretty solid starter, 7-5 with a 3.0 ERA. So That's pretty darn good, I would say, if I say so myself. Already getting his first strikeout. So, again, you know, off to a good start here. But Todd Frazier, he's got some other ideas, though. He hits a nice ball out into left center field. It manages to get into the gap. And even though Todd Frazier himself may not be the fastest guy on the planet, there's another guy in this Jacksonville squad that was able to get a run in. So Todd Frazier helps the Jacksonville Suns strike first. They're going to go ahead and take an early 1-0 lead, but Madison Bumgarner getting that second strikeout of the inning. But Jacksonville starts off pretty strong here in this ball game, as helps provide a little bit of early run support for Marco Gonzalez, one of the younger pitchers in the USBL. Has some promise, but as of right now, you know, having a pretty pedestrian season, I would say, with 4.0 ERA. But so when you got a younger pitcher like that, you got to make sure you go ahead, you get some runs up in here. And I'm surprised they didn't send him home. He had a 99 speed to work with. Maybe just want to be a little bit more conservative. Don't want to make any outs at the plate. That would be kind of embarrassing. So the manager comes out and talks to Madison Bumgarner, make sure he's good to go. And whatever it did, you know, sort of worked, but sadly, of course, Jacksonville gets another run in on a really weak base hit. That barely leaves the dirt. That's right in front of home plate, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. This is a 3-0 ball game here, still in the top of the second inning. That one will also drop here as well, and it's yet another run for the Jacksonville Suns. So, big inning going on right now. It is still a pretty, pretty tough outing for Madison Bumgarner, to be honest. This is usually not how his games go, but the bleeding will eventually stop. But it is still a 4-0 game here, as there's another strikeout for Marco Gonzalez, his second one of the day. As Nick Ahmed comes to the plate here. Full count, 2 outs. And that's a way to get on the board for the very first time all game today. Solo shot for Nick Ahmed, his 4th home run of the season. So yeah, you love to see it, man. Indianapolis Indians, they do go ahead and get their very first run of the game. But shortly after, though, Jacksonville Suns are going to get it back here in the top of the 4th inning, as Donovan Solano, he also hits a nice home run out there, his 4th home run of the season. And now the Indianapolis Indians looking to respond, and they desperately need one. They're running out of baseball to play here, you know, down by 4 runs as well. But Jose Altuve answering the call without cheating, of course. You know, I got to give him a hard time for that, because he was part of that actual Houston Astros team that did basically cheat their way to a World Series. Let's be honest. As Avisal Garcia, he comes to the plate as well. That should be deep enough to bring Jose Altuve home. And Indianapolis is looking to storm back here. Another run for the Indianapolis Indians. Matter of fact, Jacksonville's noticing the winds changing from a momentum standpoint. They bring in Tyler Webb in order to try to calm things down. And it's a tough situation to be in, too. He being asked basically to come in with the bases loaded. There's no outs. You know, if you can, like, limit it to just a run, you know, by all means, you know, gotta do it like that. But hey, it is what it is, though. And right now, Jacksonville holding on to a 5-3 lead. But Indianapolis, though, looking to storm back here. This ball is hit deep. Is it gonna carry out of here? No, it just makes it to the warning track. Oh wow, just a few feet away. That would have that would have given them the lead. So close. But now Jacksonville, they bring in another pitcher in Austin Adams, and he comes in the clutch. The lead for the time being will be preserved for the Jacksonville Indians. And oh my, we got another tight one here, 5-4. As it cuts to even later in the game, another bullpen change for Jacksonville. This time it's Chris Martin. We're going to close this game out, pull the upset on the Indianapolis Indians, and Looks like Francisco Lindor cannot come in the clutch. The final out is going to officially be made, and Jacksonville hangs on by the skin of their teeth, and they're going to end up winning this game by a score of 5-4 at the end of this game. But guys, we only have a couple of more matchups remaining here in this episode. I know it's a little bit longer of a video than usual, but we only have a couple more games left here before we go ahead wrap up the month of June. We're already almost halfway through the very first season of the USBL, but let's go ahead and check out a couple of teams that, particularly Charlotte. Charlotte has been a little disappointing this season. They got quite a bit of talent, between Tim Anderson. They also got veterans like Joey Votto, who's a good leader on and off the field. Both of them are kind of trying to stay relevant, as much as possible here as we get into the second half of the season. Memphis, more so in a rebuilding mode. They did come in as one of the worst teams from an overall perspective in the USBL. And, seeing it here a little bit here as Marcell Ozuna does end up getting the 10th home run of the season for them. As we continue the bottom of the first inning, Charlotte already with 3 runs. You love to see that, as Charlotte has kind of struggled within the baseball a little bit here. Ian Happ comes up, tries to make something shake, but can't quite make it happen this time around. As now Garrett Cooper coming up to the plate as well. See if Ian Anderson can also bring him out too, and that's how the rest of the bottom of the first inning went. A strong start, but kind of fell a little bit flat. But hey, 3 runs in the first inning, can always, find a reason to smile about that. As the Memphis Bobcats come up to the plate here in the top of the second inning, and they're not going to take very long to respond themselves, so as we got a solo shot by Matt Olson. It's the 10th home run of the season for him. And JD Remoto, he's looking to potentially go deep as well. Is this going to be 2 home runs in a row? Yes, it is. Just barely, and I mean barely, makes it over the wall. So 2 home runs in the row for the Memphis Bobcats. Is it going to be free? No. That's going to be a strikeout for Shane Bieber, his second one. As Gerard Carcion comes to the plate as well. He will also take the L and strike out swinging as well. So now Nico Goodrum coming to the plate, batting .227 on the season. And Shane Bieber, after giving up back-to-back home runs, settles down and ends up striking the next 3 batters out. And Memphis will still find themselves down 3-2 here, as Charlotte will come up the plate again here in the bottom of the second inning. We got another hit for Marcell Ozuna here. Is this going to carry? No, it doesn't. It does not leave the ballpark, but the ball was misplayed. And that will also go ahead and bring a couple of runs in. So Marcell Ozuna having himself a really nice day so far. Got the home run earlier in the game, back in like the first inning, and then able to get a multi-RBI double. So Ozuna accounting for 3 to 5. Actually, now that I think about it, almost all of the runs scored by Charlotte. What a day. As Ian Happ now will come to the plate here, 0 for 2. He's going to line this one out in the right center field. This could go ahead and bring in another run as well, and it will do exactly just that 13th double of the season for Ian Happ, as that will go ahead and bring Jamar Coniero, as we got a full count here with a runner on second base, as Ramirez comes with the pitch, but it's another base hit. This time center fielder was able to cut it off, so you like to see that. But that being said, though, Charlotte ends up tacking on another run before Gary Sanchez strikes out, ends the inning. But Charlotte now with a commanding lead here. They are now up by 5 runs here, as we now cut to the bottom of the 6th inning. Charlotte, the Cougars, they're on a roll, man. They are tearing apart these Bobcats low-key. It's been a long week, man. I'll tell you what. It's been a really long week. But Yoenis Cespedes, he gets his third home run this season. As we go ahead, you see Adam Fletcher trying to come in and do some damage control. He does manage to do just that. But is it going to be enough, though? Is it a little too late? As Memphis, they do start this 9th inning. They're down by 6 runs, and keep in mind, they only have 3 outs to make this up. The single solo shot by Giancarlo Stanton, that will certainly help, but Chaz Rowe, he will come in and basically trying to go in and slam the door. He's doing just that, as Memphis has not hit the ball very hard since Chaz Rowe coming to the game. Joar Carcion, though, he can try to play hero, keep it going, but he's going to strike out swinging. And Charlotte with a really good win here at home. They will end up taking care of business against the Memphis Bobcats, winning 8-3. So let's go ahead and check out the final game here in this episode. We got the Minnesota Ducks, who did also at one point have one of the best records in the league. They will look to go ahead and take care of business against the San Antonio Outlaws. They currently, they won their first 2 games in this series. And, someone that certainly, needs to be noted as well, as Michael Savaku is going to go up against Brady Singer, who's having a great year as well. Jose Ramirez, on the other hand, he had a really hot May, but definitely came down to earth a little bit here in the month of June, as Brady Singer will deliver the 3-1 pitch. That's one way to get back on track a little bit whenever you have a mini slump like that. A 2-run shot for Jose Ramirez. Good for his 12th home run of the season. As we come into the bottom of the 2nd inning now, and San Antonio knows, man, gotta get some runs on the board. Minnesota is kind of one of those hot and cold teams. Some days, when we're watching them in gameplay, they are almost unstoppable with their, with as much speed as they have in this lineup. And then other days, like this offense really struggles to put the bat on the baseball, So I don't know which offense we're going to see for the Minnesota Ducks, but San Antonio not trying to wait around and find up, trying to build an early lead. As we cut to the top of the 5th inning, we will finally see a run being scored here for Minnesota. Not from Gary Waters or Fernando Tatis Jr., who's on this team, but an actual manufactured run. As Minnesota will cut the lead for the time being, now only down 3-1. Tezcar Hernandez comes to the plate. He's going to send this out, and everyone knows. But that's gone as soon as it left the bat. You saw those infielders too, right? Hands on the knees, all that good stuff. 15th home run of the season for him, by the way. Was an absolute no-doubter. But Tyler Thornburg will settle down just a little bit here. As we cut into the late stages of this game, Scott Alexander coming in here, top of the 8th inning. As Gary Waters now comes to the plate, trying to hit this one out into left field, and gonna actually go ahead and get down. Hopefully that's counted as a hit. That was a really difficult play to make, and it will be considered a double. So Gary Waters, he will continue his hitting streak, now up to 7 games now, as we see another base, well, not a base hit, but kind of a suicide squeeze kind of thing. It wasn't a bunt, but I mean, it certainly looked like a bunt with how far that ended up going. But Randall Poulsen, he's going to end up striking out here in the top of the 8th as well. So now Minnesota is in danger of stranding a runner, as San Antonio's not going to wait. They're going to go ahead and bring in Jose Leclerc to try to complete the 4-out save. And that's one way to get it going here as well, securing that final out in the 8th inning. We'll see if San Antonio can come in and try to get some insurance runs in. That did not happen. Tim Locastrio comes into the game here, tying run up at the plate. But Tim Locastrio, weak ground ball. That will be considered the final out, and San Antonio keeps his hopes and drives a little bit. A much-needed win against the Minnesota Ducks. in order to go ahead and avoid the sweep. So we go ahead and sim through the month of June, and that does mean we're about halfway through the inaugural USBL season. So I think it's about time to go ahead and see how we're holding up, throughout the league, and also going to identify some buyers and sellers, for the trade day that will happen next episode. We will have some trades that happen there, but in the meantime, this is what we got going on in the standings. We got the Cleveland Rockers and the Baltimore Stone Crabs and the New York Knights, all potentially going to be buyers are all over 500. The Cleveland Rockers with one of the best records in the league right now, 47-32. Meanwhile, the other end of the spectrum, the Boston Quakers actually have really fallen off. They've played a little bit better as of late, but it has been a really disappointing season for Boston, and they will be selling at the trade day. As for the American League Central, the Chicago Freeze, currently leading with a 50-31 record, as well as the Minnesota Ducks not too far behind, 5 games back. Both of these teams will be buyers at the trade deadline. That being said, though, the Detroit Leopards, they have certainly fallen off as of late, and the Columbus Jets just have had a really tough time getting anything going, particularly on the road. Both of these teams will be sellers at the trade day. Meanwhile, in the American League West, the Houston Astronauts trying to pull away in this division. They got a 5-game lead over the San Jose Marauders, but they are only 5 games back, as they are trying to surge forward as we get close to the All-Star break. And, both these teams will be buyers at the trade deadline. Meanwhile, over in the National League East, switching over to the National League side of things, the Philadelphia Patriots, the Washington Senators, and the New Orleans Kings are all still in it. These 3 teams are only separated by 2.5 games. These 3 squads are. It's could be a really tight race, here in the second half of the summer, the second half of the season. All 3 of these teams will try to buy at the trade day, trying to beef up their squads a little bit in order to go ahead and make a playoff push. Over in the National League Central, though, the Indianapolis Indians, who don't really have any holes in their roster, not too many strengths, so they're looking like a well-oiled machine overall, 45-36, leading the Aurora Lightning by 3 games. Both of these teams will be buyers at the trade deadline. And then finally, wrapping things up here in the National League West, we have the LA Saints, currently with a 1.5 game lead over the San Francisco Seals. Despite the fact that the Seals have been on a 2-game winning streak, the LA Saints have lost their last 4 games, but they will both still be buyers at the trade deadline. Meanwhile, the Denver Bald Eagles, they have really struggled. They've played a lot better as of late. They have recovered to a degree from an 8-22 start that they had at the beginning of the season. But that being said, Denver is still 13.5 games out of the division lead. And then over in the wild card, things aren't looking much better for the Bald Eagles. They're 10 games out of the wild card, so they're going to go ahead and be sellers at the trade deadline. But something else that's going to be coming up here within the next couple of episodes, we're going to have the All-Star break. That's just a couple of episodes away, so, wanting to go ahead and show who's leading the All-Star voting, here over in the National League. Right now, starting with the infield, we have 2 players from the Memphis Bobcats, JT Realmuto at catcher, and then Chris Bryant at that third base position. Right now leading the All-Star voting. Remember, this is for the All-Star starters. Zach Paulsack would be the starting pitcher for the National League. He's representing for the Aurora Lightning. San Francisco Seals will have Paul Goldschmidt. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Patriots, they have multiple All-Stars leading as of right now. DJ LeMahieu at the second base position, with Bryce Harper leading over right field, both representing the city of Philadelphia. Representing Washington, we have Ketel Marte out in center field. Juan Soto, who actually is the leading vote getter among all National Leaguers, he is representing the Phoenix Firebirds with over 600,000 votes. And then rounding out the National League is Tim Anderson, representing the Charlotte Cougars. He's leading the shortstop position with 476,000 votes. And then over in the American League, this is what's going down right now. The San Jose Marauders do have multiple All-Stars out in the outfield. Eloy Jimenez and Mike Trout both currently leading, with Mookie Betts, out in right field. He is on that Boston Quakers squad. We will have to see if he is moved or not, because he is on a team that is considered a seller going to be a seller at the trade deadline. We'll see if Mookie Betts is moved or not. I don't think they should. He is one of the best players in baseball right now. You don't move from that and try to get some young talent around him maybe. But over in the infield, we have Pete Alonso at first base. He's representing the Baltimore Stone Crabs. Keston Hiura at second base from the Houston Astronauts. Xander Bogaerts over at shortstop. He is from the Chicago Freeze. Noah Arenado from the New York Knights leads all National Leaguers with all American Leaguers, my bad, with over 650,000 votes. He's out at third base. Then rounding out the American League starters would be Garrett Cole with 329,000 votes. He's representing the Nashville Blues. And Will Smith, who is the catcher for the Minnesota Ducks. So that is going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode of the USBL here on MLB The Show. Next time out, we will have a little bit of gameplay, of course, but we're also going to have the trade day. First and foremost, see which teams make a move or not. That's going to be a really interesting thing to see, I think. It's going to be a good one, so make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe if you have to be brand new, and then also hit me up down in the comments below. Let me know what you're feeling. In the meantime, I hope you guys are all out there having a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.